Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Season 4, Episode 22, The Power Inside Her. Now, this was a really awesome episode, and it's perfect that it was a great episode because this was the 100th episode of the series. It's probably been a total of 5 years because of how the weird pacing of the series, so it's probably been on technically for 5 years, but it's been on for a long time. It's, a great version of the Ninja Turtles. It's definitely one of my favorites. I mean, we only got technically 4 if you count the next mutation, but we only have a couple, and I think each of them is good in their own way. And this one, it just keeps going, and they add their own elements of things like, Psychic April, of course, which was super freaking awesome in this episode. And it was a great 100th episode. Like, they had some awesome moments, not just for April, where she's being controlled by this crystal. We find out that it's not just the crystal, it's actually like a physical version of one of the creatures is actually like inside of this thing, and it's controlling her. So it's not like, oh, she's, like drawn to the power. It's more that there's an actual spirit saying, hey, you know what? Shut up and let me take over so I can kill everything that's bad. So that was an interesting little surprise. I was like, oh, I thought it was just, kind of typical superpower sort of thing where it's like, oh, you're just drawn to the power for whatever reason. It's just that dark energy and it makes you bad. But it's like, nope, there's an actual spirit inside of this crystal, which becomes a physical manifestation by the end of the episode, which I thought was pretty cool. And I thought that would go a little bit further, but I was happy to see that April was able to actually kill the creature off at the end of the episode. But this junk was nuts, so I'm just going to start at the beginning of it. And of course, Donnie's testing the crystal. Is like, alright, we have to figure out what's going on. April's still going through her crazy, her Lord of the Rings thing where it's like, it's mine, don't touch it. And naturally, things go wrong during the experiment. Donnie gives her a bit too much power. It, makes everything go nuts, and then she goes nuts and starts destroying everything. She was force choking people all throughout this episode. It was nuts. So, we have Donnie who stays, with the crystal. Master Splinter tries to help April as the rest of the team goes out to help Casey. And Casey has an epic moment in this episode. I really loved his portion of the episode because, he's by himself. He's like, man, I can't believe Raph left me. And then he sees Tiger Claw, Razar, and Zevver, and they're getting the mutagen. So he's like, well, hey, stuff is going wrong. Like, they're trying to help Super Shredder. We got to stop them. And of course, they take off. So he's like, well, I got to do this myself. I can't let them get away. And he actually succeeds. Honestly, I didn't think he'd win like he did. I figured he'd take a couple of them out, but they would stop him ultimately, at the end. But he just beat everybody's butt. I was like, holy crap. Even Tiger Claw, him taking out Razar, who is also alive, by the way. He should have totally been dead when he got hit by that train, but he's still alive. So he knocks him out of the back of the truck, and I'm like, okay, took him down. The Footbots are coming after him still, and Tiger Claw is about to go back, and all he has to do is just kick the door open, and he hits him, and it takes out Tiger Claw. So I was like, that's pretty cool. And then he shocks Zevver, tosses him out the truck, and he steals the whole thing, and he's gone. And I'm like, that was a great moment for Casey, where we just saw him beat up the strongest people, really the only people that Shredder even has. He took all of them out in this crazy situation where he's on top. He starts off on top of the moving truck, then he moves inside of it, and then he still manages to beat everybody up. He still has to climb outside of it again to get to the front where Zevver was, and that was pretty sweet. I was like, that was a great moment for Casey, and he gets the truck. The Footbots on fire, I thought was a cool visual as well. Once they get set on fire from the explosion, they just keep going. I was like, that actually looks really cool to me because, of course, they're robots, so they don't feel pain, and the flames just weren't going out. So I was like, that actually looks pretty sweet. So I like the visuals for that, and of course, Casey ends up being saved by April after she goes nuts, and she escapes from the lair, and she, once again does the force choke. So she messes up Master Splinter. She's bending him around and stuff like that. I thought she was breaking stuff because that's how they made it seem, because he's bending and contorting, but I guess it was just uncomfortable because he was able to still move around. His arm hurt, but it didn't seem like it was broken or anything really bad because she was twisting people up, and they'd be fine. Raph at the end, I thought, honestly, with the way they were doing that, she was about to, rip him apart, and when he, dropped down, he was wounded, but it wasn't all his bones were broken because they were, ripped out of the sockets, even though they looked like they should have been. It got pretty intense. But, of course, she escapes the lair. She actually ends up saving Casey, and things just get crazier from there. The rest of the team finds her, and they get to, the Channel 6 tower. They always find a way to, like, throw that reference in there, like, hey, Channel 6 news, it's, part of the story. So that's where she ends up going, and that's when things really, kick up. That's when, like, the real dark stuff starts to happen. So when they get there, and, the turtles zip line up and everything, and Casey meets them at the top. Somehow, I think Casey might have some secret powers, because there's no way in the world that he should have made it up at the same time as that zip line going straight up, and he ran into a hospital running up, stairs. There's no way he should have got up there, like, 1 second after they land. He's like, dang, you guys still beat me. I'm like, he still should have been gone. He should have been out for, like, another minute or two, because they went to the top of this freaking building. Like, even the elevator wouldn't have been that fast. So I thought that was interesting. I'm like, there's no way they would have got up at the exact same time like that. But they go through the situation. Everybody gets thrown off the building as they're trying to help April. And then we see Donnie climbing up. And so, of course, Donnie's the one who has, like, the big connection because of their relationship and stuff. And I thought they'd do a little bit of that with Casey as well. Like, him kind of having a crush on her too. I thought that both of them would kind of play a part in that, but they only really did it for Donnie this time around. And him going up to her and her, not being able to control, and she grabs him and takes him into the air. I thought it was going to be dangerous. I'm like, okay, he's floating in the air. I thought that she was just going to drop him from, like, a really high height, and he'd be, like, knocked unconscious or something, because they wouldn't be able to do anything to, like, slow down his momentum. I'm like, she's going to just drop him and basically see what happens. That's where I thought that was going. And then she literally disintegrates him, and he just explodes. I thought it was, honestly, when that happened, I was like, this is going to happen, and this isn't going to be fixed after this episode. I didn't think they were going to fix it by the end, honestly. I was like, he's just dispersed. He's blown up, and I thought he was going to be that way for at least a few episodes. I was like, they're not going to figure this out by the end, but I was glad that they did, because I was like blown. I was like, holy crap, I can't believe that just happened. And my favorite reaction was honestly Casey, because they did, like, where everybody gasped, but Casey was just like, oh my god, like that, just like, that's all he could think to say. And I was like, I actually love that reaction, because what else do you say? Like, outside of gasping, those are the only words that you can actually say, or, just yell Donnie's name. So I actually love Casey's reaction, because it wasn't like, especially with it being Casey, because I think, with him being Casey, he's always excited. Even when stuff is crazy, he's normally, like, excited when he says stuff, or he's, freaking out, or it's, kind of over the top a little. And this was just, like, it was normal. And it was just like, yep, that, I don't know, something about that made it seem even more real. So I was like, I just loved that moment. It was insane. I was like, I didn't know where it was going. But she, like, disperses down, and I was like, I never would have seen that one coming. But that was a great moment in the episode for sure. And then it just gets even crazier as they, have to actually, like, by that point, it's like, well, we have to fight April. There's nothing that we can do, because she can't control this thing. And, excuse me, so they go through this really great fight scene. It starts raining and everything. And they have a really good fight scene where, they don't want to hurt April, and it was really cool. And, like, Raph has her held down, and he's yelling to Mikey, and he has the chance, but he's like, I can't do it, like, it's still April. So I just love that moment in there. Fortunately, they're able to convince her to, or kind of call out to April, and she's able to get control over the creature and kind of expel it. And she's able to take it down in one fell swoop, which is pretty sweet. And then she's able to bring Donnie back, and everything's nice, by the end of the episode. But she also has greater control over her abilities and stuff. So, like, everyone freaks out, of course, because she puts her hand up. But she's able to, like, get her katana, or, not her katana, her tanto, sorry. And I was like, that's pretty cool. I was like, alright, she has, greater control over her abilities and stuff. So it was nice. It was a crazy episode. She's force choking people and squeezing them and stretching them out and stuff. She had, like, Vegeta hairstyle going on with her hair going straight up. Also, it was weird. At first, I was like, did her hair grow after she, like, first came out of, like, the crazy psychic mode? And then I realized the reason her hair looks so long is because she always has it in a ponytail. And I've never paid any attention to the fact that her hair is in, like, that little ponytail. Because I'm like, she had, like, long hair around her shoulders. And I'm like, her hair is never that long. Where does all this hair come from? And I thought it was just her hair was growing. I don't know why. But I thought that was funny. I was like, I just don't ever. It was just really funny seeing, like, finally realizing that. I was like, wow, I never paid any attention to her hair in any way, shape, or form that she had a ponytail. And I was like, huh, because they show like the flashbacks, and I was like, oh, that's why her hair always seemed so short, is because she had like the ponytail. And I was like, wow, this whole freaking series, and I mean, it's always been that way, so I've never really noticed, like, if she let her hair down, her hair would be super long. It just never dawned on me, because that's just how her hair has always been. So when it was completely loose, it was weird to me. I was like, this doesn't look right. It's like she suddenly has a ton of hair, but it was just all out. And I just thought that was funny. I was like, it just never really dawned on me, especially because I don't ever have hair, so I guess I wouldn't even think to pay attention to that type of stuff. I always have, like, super low haircuts. But I just thought that was funny when I was watching. I was like, I don't remember, like, did her hair grow at this, losing control of psychic powers make your hair grow? She was going Super Saiyan anyway, so I was like, eh. But it was definitely a great 100th episode. It's officially over. Kind of the Dark April stuff is officially gone. She's, got better control of her powers. We still have to wait and see what they're going to do with Super Shredder, since they kind of stopped them in this episode. He won't get that mutagen, but of course there's going to be more mutagen out there for him to utilize. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But this is a great episode. It was definitely entertaining to just go through all the cool action sequences and the scary stuff with April. And I knew she wasn't gonna. Well, like the thing with Donnie, I was like, I knew that wasn't permanent. But like I said, I figured that would at least be a couple episodes where the team is just destroyed, because it's like we don't even know, where Donnie is. We don't know how to save him. But just going through that dark stuff with April, I thought was really fun. So phenomenal episode. Of course, definitely want to know what you guys thought about it. So please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And I actually want to know where you guys think April is headed next. Like, what is the next big step for April O'Neil now that she's been able to kind of banish this sort of dark energy, that was taking over her body, and now she has a greater control over her power. What are we going to see from her next? What's going to be her next big thing? Because, it's April O'Neil. You never know what situation she's going to be in that's going to bring out some new element. Is she going to be able to get back to that sort of level? Like, she, of course, won't have that power again, but maybe over time she could build up to it, or maybe in moments of extreme duress, just like when she had the crystal, maybe she could get to that power. It just won't, control her anymore. It'll just be like a crazy outburst of strength. So maybe we'll still see that, with Super Shredder coming back into the fold. We might get that again, but I want to know your theories on it and what you guys thought about this episode in general. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.